Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is the live call-in edition of the Free Thought Forum, brought to you by the friendly folks at Pennsylvania Nonbelievers. Today is 24th of January, 2012. I'm the guest host tonight, yes. Yeah. And our host tonight will be George Zerba. A bon vivant raconteur and a man about town. Well, he was until his wife caught him.
Yeah,
but,
that put an end to that. Yeah.
That put an end to that. And I'll be your co-host tonight until I wish to snatch power back from him and maybe reverse the thing. So I'm referred to as Dastardly Doug Diggens, and welcome to our show. We should say at this point, because there are so many litigious people in the country here, that I do need to make a slight disclaimer, and that is the opinions expressed on by the hosts, guests, or callers on this show do not necessarily reflect the opinions of Comcast, White Rose Community Television, Channel 16, or the respective officers or board of directors, or anyone other than the despicable person who is speaking. Okay. The universe is currently about 13.7 billion years old, and as far as we're concerned, we have yet to see one single instant related to God in any scripture that holds true upon close examination. Up front here, we'd normally keep this for the last of the show, but we'd like to tell you about the Reason Rally that is coming up in Washington, D.C., in which they expect somewhere between 500,000 and 1 million atheists to show up on the mall down there. Now, American atheists had they call it the Gamow show, which was the Godless Americans March on Washington in 2002. I was there, and it was fabulous. I mean, that whole mall area was just crowded full of those despicable atheists like that. It was friendly. There was no problems. There were a few evangelicals along the side, behind the barricades, that were shouting their taunts at us, you're going to hell and everything else. But there was a very, very heavy police presence there that made sure that everything was just copacetic and there was no problems, no fights. And with that many people, it was, it's amazing. It really is. And we expect to have an even better show rally this year.
I think, Doug, to interrupt you, the last one was American Atheist production.
Yes.
This is American Atheist, Free Thought, Freedom from Religion Foundation.
Yes.
I think some other groups are involved.
Yeah,
so
it's
not just American Atheists.
Yeah, it's a combined effort, I should say. I kind of led you astray there a little bit. However, the American Atheists will be having their convention down there, the 2012 convention, right after the rally. The rally itself is free. It doesn't cost you anything to attend, and welcome everyone down there, regardless of whether or not you are calling yourself a free thinker, agnostic, atheist, spiritual person, whatever it is. Everyone is welcome down there. There are buses going there from every part of America, actually. And if you go on Google or Yahoo or whatever your browser is, and just type in Reason Rally, you will find that there are bus tours available from just about anywhere to Washington, D.C. So we'd like to see, about 1 million show up, and there's plenty of room there. Now what I will do is I will turn this back over to our bon vivant host, and let him speak a few words of joy and wisdom that will bring everyone's...
Well, maybe joy. I don't know about wisdom. I don't know how much wisdom I can give people. But
You're old,
yes,
so you must have
Yeah.
gained this wisdom.
I hope so. I think we lose some as we go along. One of the things I wanted to discuss, which was something we've heard about nationally up in Rhode Island, Jessica Alquist. You've probably heard of her.
Yes.
She's the 16-year-old junior at, I think it's Cranston West High School, who there was a banner there that had a prayer in it. She objected to that last year. I believe this started. She asked them to take this down. They refused to do that. She apparently went through channels trying to get them to remove it without hassle. Well, they had to go to the ACLU and have them file a suit against them. And they, in fact, as in most of these cases, when you have prayers and things on public buildings, they lost the case. They were told, take it down. Now, we understand last week they were going to have a meeting at the school board to determine whether or not they were going to file an appeal on this. And they kind of kicked the can down the road. They said they're going to wait and see what they're going to do. They haven't made a decision yet. My suspicion is that they didn't want to anger people by saying, look, it's futile to fight this thing because we're going to lose, and you're going to lose money in the meantime. But there were a lot of citizens there who want them to go ahead and appeal this, much as we saw in the Dover trial when they wanted to appeal it, and we saw what happened. They lost. Naturally, this is a public property.
Big time, and they made themselves look like idiots,
yes.
Really.
And you can't have prayers on public property. Private property, that's fine, but not public. I don't know why people don't understand this. I guess maybe it stems from this silly notion that people like David Barton are pushing that we're a Christian nation. All I can say to them is look at the Treaty of Tripoli, the first treaty the United States ever signed, which says we are not a Christian nation. So we're a secular nation. Yeah. Now, Jessica has had all kinds of repercussions of this. The first day she went back to school last Tuesday, the school asked the police to come and escort her from class to class. They're worried about violence. Now, I understand there's some things on this Facebook, which I don't read, but some of the comments were things like, let's all jump the girl, which sounds pretty ominous. Someone else put on their OMG, which means oh my God. My God. See, I'm not up on all that stuff. Yeah. Oh my God, she's almost as bad as blacks. One thing that shocked me, I didn't realize that Rhode Island was that bigoted and racist a state to have things like this happen. That's just awful to talk like that. Here's a girl standing up for her rights. She was right, and now they want to jump her, and they want to further on this story. The Freedom from Religion Foundation in Madison said they were very proud of what she did, and they said they were going to send her flowers. So they went to a florist shop there in Madison. They have these reciprocal things, and they had tried to get someone in Cranston, Rhode Island, to deliver a dozen roses. Well, the first place refused, saying we would never deliver to that girl. They tried other places, and they also refused. They gave other excuses, but they couldn't find anyone in Cranston to deliver the flowers to her. Now, I understand they did find a florist in Connecticut who's going to deliver the flowers to her. So that shows the bigotry of this Cranston, that you would turn down business because the girl stood up for her rights, because she's an atheist. She stood up for her rights, and she was correct. Yeah. They should have a prayer there. They should realize this is a public school. Prayer's been outlawed since '62, was it? When Madeline Murray O'Hare filed her suit, along with I think Shrimp.
Yeah. And no one has gone to hell because of it.
No.
I should remind everyone that this is a live call-in show, and we're going to open up the phones right now. And please remember that there is a 7-second delay between when you speak into your telephone
So turn
and
the
when
TV
you when you hear it through the television.
So turn down the TV. That's what you
Turn
do.
down
Yeah.
the TV. So the number is on your screen, and if you have any comments or questions, be sure to call in.
Yeah.
We're waiting for your call. We're anxious to have your call, even if it's a different subject.
One thing I want to mention about Jessica, she is going to be at the Reason Rally. She'll be speaking.
Mm-hmm.
And if you've heard her, she's a 16-year-old girl, lovely young lady, well-spoken. I think it'd be worth it just to hear Jessica. So stop down.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's a number of guests and luminaries
Yes.
that are going to be there. And, unless you have ever been to a giant rally before, you really have got to go and experience the thing. Probably one of my biggest regrets in life is that I poo-pooed Woodstock. Some friends of mine said, "Hey, let's go to Woodstock," and I'm going, no, I'm just a little pansy here, and the weather is supposed to be bad, and it probably won't be that good like that. And here it is. It was the biggest event, entertainment event of probably all time. So now I say, I wish I had. So don't say that about this Reason rally. Find a bus or get in your car and drive down to the mall. And that is on March the 24th. Okay? Join us all. You can't miss us. You're going to look at the Washington Monument, and then you look at the 500,000 people that are gathered in the mall area. Well, it's not someone else. You got the right place, and we are there. Like that. So
Now, if they want to go on the bus,
Yep.
there are buses leaving from here.
Yep, from
and
York.
I believe they can access those at the website, PA Nonbelievers.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you go to panonbelievers.org, get on our website, you can find out where the buses are leaving and make arrangements to take a bus down there.
Yeah.
So you don't even have to drive. You don't have to fight the traffic. You just hop on the bus and head
And they
down
pick
the
you
rally.
up afterwards.
Yeah, take
and
you back home.
I believe the current fare is about $40 for round trip, which is great when
Yeah.
you sit back and relax. You can laugh. You don't have to worry about all the other people on the road. You just let the driver. And then after it's all over, they pick you up at a predetermined location, which is usually within a block of where they left you off, and that is usually within a block or closer to where the action is. It usually will take you maybe 2 to 3 minutes to walk right into the heart of it. It'll blow your mind to see that many people.
Well, you'll get to ride down with a bunch of like-minded people, and if you're single, you might even meet someone. You never know.
Yeah.
So, yeah, might turn out to be pretty good.
Never can tell. There's always hope.
Yeah, there's always hope. But the rally's going to be good. I know the rally's going to be good. The trip down, can't guarantee you're going to meet someone, but come on down.
I wish that there were that I brought the list of guests that they've got.
Well, it's on the website. I think it's on
there.
the website.
Yeah, so, be sure to check out the Pennsylvania Nonbelievers website, and we've got links there. I believe that we've also got links to the to the rally, to the buses and everything, and it's on your screen right now, www.panonbelievers.org. Now, it's not com and it's not net. It's ORG, because we are an organization. So we also do have a Facebook page. We're all over the internet, and for people that say that there aren't many atheists here in America, that it's all a Christian nation, wrong. About 1/3 of the country Okay, although it's hidden by all the religious groups and everything, trying to say, no, there's just a few of us. No, if you come right down to it, there's probably about 15% dyed in the wool, hardcore atheists, and another 15% that, frankly, don't give a good damn. Okay, and those people are just the same as atheists, but I call atheist lights. They just don't want to be bothered with God. They don't want to be bothered with religion. They don't want to be preached to. Go away, leave us alone, and if when I die you are right, then I'll be sorry. If I'm right, then it won't matter.
Right. Well, that's Pascal's wager, right?
Yeah.
Now, Pascal's wager, one of the parts they never bring up is, they say, well, what if we're right as Christians, and what if you're right as an atheist? But what if the Buddhists are right, or the Muslims, or some other religion? Then the Christian's wrong, and they'll end up in Buddhist hell or Muslim hell or whatever.
Yes.
So
start counting your chakras.
Look at it that way. And besides that, asking atheists to say, well, you should just believe because to play it safe. Well, if there really is a God, a supreme being who knows all, he would know they're just faking it.
Yeah.
And he would know that you're not a real believer. So you just can't pretend that kind of thing. I mean, logic tells us that there's nothing up there. There's no supreme being. We've seen too many things that argue against it. I mean, when people tell me, look at the beautiful world, look out the window. Look out the window, the beautiful trees. Well, how about the beautiful mountains that come sliding down in a storm and buries a village and kills everyone?
Yeah.
Is that beautiful? There's beautiful things, there's ugly things. If God was watching everything, why did he let that ship in Italy go sailing into the rocks and kill these people and turn the ship upside down? Why didn't God go there and tell that captain, hey, you're getting too close to the rocks, get the heck away from there?
Well, he never speaks directly to people. He speaks to nutcases and asks them to tell the other people
now some claim,
what to do.
For instance, in this election, I know Michelle Bachmann and Rick Perry both said that God told them to run. Now, they're both out of the race, so I'm not sure I would listen to God when it comes to politics, because he obviously let them down, Or maybe he told them to run just because he's mean and he wants to see them make fools of themselves by running and losing an election and wasting a lot of money and a lot of people's time.
Well, the way that I look at Pascal's wager, and that is that what does God want you to do in order to get into heaven, right? Well, what he wants you to do is to obey his every command. Mm-hmm. Okay, no free will here, really. That for lack of a better term, you've got to kiss his butt 24 hours a day. Mm-hmm. Okay, well, does that sound roughly familiar to you? Like maybe the old plantations and the slaves, where the slaves had to kiss Maz's butt, like that, or they'd be beaten, or they'd be punished. Well, this is just what they're saying about God here. What do I have to lose by not believing? I'd lose a lifetime of slavery to God and having to kiss his butt every single day. That's the way I look at it. I'm a free spirit here. If I'm wrong in some things I do, and there is a God, I'm quite sure that he's more intelligent than anyone down here that have written his supposed words. Okay, and he'd probably turn around to the atheists and say, hey, glad to see that you were thinking for yourselves rather than to all those people that wrote the Bible and all the other scriptures claiming to speak for me, which they don't. Like that.
Yeah.
So,
Well-
I've just got my freedom to lose.
Well, and what society has to lose is look at the Dark Ages when religion really ruled the world.
Yeah.
How far back that set us in science and other things. How long did it take us to understand the world is not flat? The Earth is not the center of the universe. Where would we be scientifically if we had not lost those years to the Dark Ages? You know, so
Every
it's a
year,
negative.
every year, science makes our idea of a God or a creator look more inept. You know, and there should be a way to live side by side with it. But the trouble is that the religious people cannot put down this book, which of course is the Holy Bible, like that, because if they admit that even one single thing in that book is inaccurate, like that, then the whole house of cards falls down. Okay, I mean, it's either all correct or none of it is correct.
Well, this is why most evangelicals don't believe in evolution, because they don't believe evolution could not have happened in 6,000 years, and they believe the Earth is 6,000 years old, which, you know, scientists have proved over and over it's not, but they don't accept that. They say it's all, they're just making it up, I guess. But if the world is 6,000 years old, we couldn't have evolution.
No.
We couldn't have evolved that much. So they don't want to believe that.
Well,
And-
that is true.
And that's
I mean,
holding science
they
back.
say, oh, no, evolution couldn't have happened. Well, yes, if you're working on that time frame, 6,000 years, no way. But if you're looking at, 4 or 5 billion years,
that, yeah.
it's very doable.
Yeah.
It looks like we might have a phone call here. So, is it a friendly call? Okay. Good day, caller. Welcome to the Free Thought Forum. Did you turn your TV down?
Yep, I already took care of that.
I
good.
figured
Good
you
man.
would.
You have a
I was
question?
wondering, what do you guys think of, like when you see prayer requests on like Facebook or in emails or whatever? Like, how do you think that? Do you think that isn't harming anybody? Like, or is that a problem? Does that contribute to some of the bigotry that maybe we see with like the Jessica Alquist thing and other similar situations, or do you think it's completely harmless?
Well, it's a waste of time, and I don't think it's harmless. It does contribute, as you say, to things like Jessica getting threats like this, you know. If you don't believe what I believe, you're an evil person. You know, why can't we live and let live?
I think that the point is that when you start praying, you stop trying. Now you sit and you wait for God to answer your prayer, okay? And you can sit there waiting forever for it. I can't remember the guy's name now, but he was a famous black man, well known, that said that I used to pray all the time to be free, like that, until I learned to pray with my legs, which meant that he got tired of sitting back and waiting, and he decided to take matters into his own hand, and he walked away from slavery. And that's what you got to do. Yeah, okay, you can pray. It's your little ace in the hole, if you want to think of it that way. But if you want to get to Tulsa in Tulsa time, then start walking. And if some God gives you a ride on the way, great. But don't expect no God to come along in a semi and give you a ride all the way. Sorry, that's my Go ahead, caller.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I agree that, I mean, well, there's studies that prove prayer doesn't work. I mean, they were even conducted by religious universities. Religious people prove that prayer doesn't work. And my thing is, like, if I see these prayer requests, and they only ever come up when the person is in a really bad situation to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
So there's that kind of, keeps you from wanting to say something like, oh, hey, that doesn't work. Because they're in this desperate sort of situation, and they're just trying to reach out to find moral support or whatever. And
They're grasping at straws.
Yeah, and then you come along and, just make things worse by kicking them while they're down, basically, by, if you point out that prayer doesn't work. So there's that sort of social pressure keeping you from criticizing prayer requests. But then on top of it, it's as if, like, if you don't criticize it, then it's going to keep going, and people are going to keep doing this. And, like, and I kind of wonder, like, is this what contributes to, little things like this all build up, and sort of coalesce, and then when something strikes a match to that, like Jessica Alquist or Rick Santorum runs for office or something, then there you have this huge problem, and it all starts with little stupid stuff like prayer requests, like dumb little things like that,
Yeah, as far as the prayer requests, people, you're right. People often in a bad situation. You wonder, well, why did God? If you believe in God, why did He put you in that situation? And doesn't He know? I know when I worked in the hospital, I would see parents come into their children were in the hospital. I knew what they wanted. They wanted their child to get better. Now, why did they have to pray to God? Didn't God know that? I knew they wanted the child to get better. They wanted them to go back to their normal life.
Well, if He knows everyone's mind.
Yeah, He should already know that. I mean, so the prayer, a whole thing about prayer I don't understand is supposedly some people believe that God has everything planned out for the next, for millennia, for wherever, infinity. Why are you asking God to change all the plans?
Yeah,
He's already got it planned.
Yeah, you're being kind of bold there and saying, look, I know you know what you're doing, God, but I really think that you should reconsider.
Yeah. Like you can change His mind.
Yeah.
Like how arrogant must you be to think you're going to tell an omnipotent being, oh, hey, you were wrong.
Yeah.
I mean, I get upset if somebody wants me to change my 5-week calendar, I mean, they're asking Him to change eternity, Come on. Yeah. It's just a waste of time as far as I'm concerned. And when you get the people say, prayer works because I prayed and Uncle Joe got better. Well, Uncle Joe probably had very good medical treatment and the situation was right. Uncle Joe got better. How about the other guy who died? I mean, I read the obituaries every day, and I see a lot of people dying. Most of them are Christians. I see churches in there. What happened? Didn't those prayers work? I mean, well, God works in mysterious ways. That's always the fallback, isn't it?
Yeah, but God works in deleterious ways, really. But, excuse me while I drink some holy water.
Yeah. Well, that's not holy water. By the way, when we came back from France from Lourdes, we did have some holy water with us. It didn't do any good. Nothing happened. So.
Well, but do you guys think that, like when we see things like prayer requests, do you think we should just roll our eyes and move on, or do you think we should say something? Like,
well, I think you're right about you don't want to be cruel to people and say, "Oh, stop wasting your time." Or, that's really stupid. But I guess try to think of some way to say, "Look, we really don't think this is going to help." Depending on what your situation, if it's a medical situation, please get medical help. If it's something in their life, get counseling, or suggest some positive things to people instead of sitting around praying. That doesn't do anything.
No. If you want to sort of like have a little prayer to yourself, and like I said, there's a little adjunct here, and
But do be careful how you respond to these people. You said, as the caller said, you don't want to insult them and give them,
Yeah, well, if they are in a bad way physically and mentally, you don't want to increase their torment by tearing down their God, but try to steer them away without
Without being too cruel.
Yeah. You know, it's funny. A couple of days ago, I was in a Chinese restaurant, one of these buffet places, and these two guys in the booth next to me came in and sat down and reached across the table and held hands, and they started to pray. Well, just about that time, the waiter came with their drinks and the silverware and everything, and he stood there for probably about 30 seconds while they prayed with their eyes closed and ignored him, and he's sort of like, hurry up. There, was that inconsiderate of them? I don't know. If I'd been the waiter, I'd have probably just sat the things on the table while they were praying anyway. But they were thanking God for things that man provided for them.
Yeah, well, now that's interesting because, okay, like if you do, okay, for example, like if you see one of these prayer requests and you do stand up and say something like, that doesn't make much sense. Why don't we try to do something for real instead of pretend?
Why don't we take up a collection?
Someone always says something like, well, it's not hurting anything, or why can't you just ignore it or whatever, or why can't we respect everyone's beliefs or whatever? Okay, that's people don't do that. We don't respect everyone's beliefs. If that waiter found out that those two guys were sitting there praying to Bigfoot, he would have rolled his eyes and been like, whatever, and just sat it down and walked off, and that would have been that.
Mm-hmm.
But because the noun in that sentence isn't Bigfoot, because the noun is God or Jesus or whatever else, then suddenly it's respectable. Like, that's complete nonsense. That doesn't make any sense at all. We absolutely do not respect all beliefs. Nobody does, because some beliefs are stupid.
And we only tend to believe and respect our own. And everyone else is, well, I won't make fun of you. Giggle, giggle, giggle. But don't try to convince me about your religion. I mean, the whole Christian, what do you call it? The Catholics make fun of the Episcopalians or the Baptists, and the Baptists make fun of the Catholics and claim that the Catholics are never going to go to heaven. It's only the Baptists will, and then it's the Mormons. Right? Oh, no, that's not a religion. That's a cult. Yeah, well, unfortunately, so is all of Christianity.
Well, as far as people's beliefs, you're right. We don't respect everyone's beliefs. If we had a science teacher who said, I believe the earth is flat and that's what I'm going to teach, we'd say, well, no, we don't accept that, and you're not going to teach that to our children because it's nonsense. So we don't accept everyone's beliefs. Some of them that are more ridiculous, and a lot of the conspiracy theorists, we don't accept their beliefs that, of the goofy things they try to pawn off on us. So you're right, we don't respect everyone's, and we shouldn't respect all of them. Just, you believe goofy things, we should say, that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Well, there's another thing to look at, caller, and that is, at present, what we're trying to do is we're trying to put together a show where we will get bring a ghost hunter on the show, and we're going to sort of like pick his mind and see where he's coming from, and his beliefs that ghosts exist and apparitions and everything else. So what you need to do is keep an eye on the show, listen to us, and as soon as we get things finalized, we'll let you know the episode beforehand. But it it's going to prove to be an interesting show, and I think probably a little more accurate than those things like, ghost hunters. I mean, isn't that ridiculous? The only thing that you ever see on that thing is some guy walking through a dark hallway, and all of a sudden he goes, "Oh, something touched me!" But you never ever see anything touch him. And then 2 minutes later, something touched my face, and that's supposed to convince me that there's a ghost. I don't think so.
Yeah.
So anyway, I just figured I'd bring that up so people know what's going to be coming up on future shows.
Well, I don't think I've ever watched one of those shows.
I've watched little bits and pieces, but since I can duplicate every single ghost that they have produced on the thing, and...
You can? So there are ghosts.
Well, I can get the same results as them. I especially love when they have what they call a FLIR, F-L-I-R, forward-looking infrared cameras. And I won't say anything now, but there's some scientifically something so basically wrong with the way that they present their evidence that anyone that is sort of technical will go, "What are they kidding? That's backwards." Yeah, I mean, you can recreate everything. I saw this one where this guy, he had a magnetometer, and what he did was he sat it on top of a control box of a water heater. I think it was a water heater or a furnace. Okay, and he said, "Oh, look at that! I'm getting some variations here." And oh my goodness, you see that that jump? Yeah, that's because it's an electrical device. It's got a coil inside of the thing, and a coil with electricity running through it produces a magnetic field. And he's saying, "It's a ghost, it's a ghost." And I say, "No, it's a fake, it's a fake."
Well, what I want to know is, why did he think in the first place, whatever gave him the idea that, oh, this is the type of device that we should use to detect thing that I have otherwise no evidence of knowing exists. Like, what a stab in the dark to just say, "Oh, magnets, that'll do it. That's how we're going to find them." Like, why not, cold jelly? Like, why not? I mean, he could have said anything at all, and it would be equally valid as a method of detecting ghosts because they're made up. Yeah. Like, there is no reason to believe they exist other than something spooky happened. Mm-hmm. And I can't explain it, so I'm just going to invent an explanation out of my imagination, and that's what it'll be.
15 years ago, a friend of mine and we used to work together. We went up to the Gettysburg battleground, and there supposedly is a triangle within that whole battleground there that is supposed to be super haunted. And, especially at night. And there have been so many instances where cameras refused to work, and cell phones didn't work, all because of supernatural thing. Well, we went up there, and I had a forward-looking infrared gun that I got permission to borrow from work. Okay, and went up there with I think it was four cameras. Okay, 35 millimeter cameras with one with regular color film, one with infrared color film, one with black and white infrared, and one with just standard film in the thing, and we stayed up there hours past when it went dark, and when the place closed, I'm quite sure that they would have kicked us out if they could have found us there. We didn't see one ghost. And even after we came home and we developed all the film and we looked at all the infrared images, nothing.
Well,
So
you must have been doing it wrong. That's the only
that
explanation.
is it. Maybe I should have gone woo woo.
Because we know positively for sure that there are ghosts. We know that.
Yes,
We do
yeah.
know that much.
Yes.
It had to have been your fault.
Yeah, I know. I mean, anyone that's ever watched that TV series, the American, excuse me, what is it, the American Horror Story?
Yeah.
There. Oh, yeah. That proves that there are ghosts, and benevolent ones too. At that.
Well, it proves there's some really good story writers in
Yeah.
Hollywood.
Yeah.
But, you know, people believe what they want to believe.
Yeah.
If they want to believe there's ghosts, they're going to believe it. And
But why is that? Okay, but that's respectable. We'll respect that idea enough to have countless television shows based around that premise. but it's not a respectable idea if you say you believe that Elvis is still alive. Why do you laugh at one of these? One of these, everybody acknowledges immediately is complete nonsense. The other one is equally as nonsensical and it's equally invalid. But we're all like, yeah, okay, yeah, I'll go with that.
well, there are people who think Elvis is alive. You know, conspiracy
Yeah, and
nuts.
we all dismiss them as wackos
Yeah.
because they are. You have to be crazy to think that's true.
Yeah.
You have to be equally as crazy to think there are ghosts. That's my problem.
Yeah. And you have to be equally as nuts to think that there are angels too, or demons, and heaven and hell too.
Well,
I mean, you being a reasonable thinking person with a reasonable education like that, if you put yourself very arrogantly, in the position of being God, would you do even a tenth of what the things that are attributed to God, what He does? I mean, that you read the Bible, and He's one angry dude. I mean, he's got control issues, and putting yourself for a moment, just in a God's place, would you be terribly, terribly upset if you had an anthill, of one of those little displays between two pieces of glass, the ant farms like that, and one of the ants decided that he was going to go do something different from all the rest? I mean, are you going to torture that ant and burn him in hell for all eternity? Now, I tend to think that even if I was to accept the word or accept the concept of God, I would have to think of Him as an engineer or a scientist rather than an old man that gets pissed off because Lot's wife looked back and decided to turn her into a pillar of salt. And it wasn't even iodized salt at that. So, I mean, it was just plain old sea salt like that. But did she deserve that for looking back?
Certainly not.
No.
Kurt Vonnegut dedicated a book to her.
yeah, it's funny that all these things that happen in the Bible, these miracles and things like that, they don't happen anymore, do they?
No, isn't that funny?
Well, maybe because now we know that some of the miracles were not really miracles. They were things that happen in nature,
Isn't it surprising just how many things that we have discovered in nature and through science that explains all of these inexplicable things other than God doing them.
That were inexplicable years ago.
Yeah.
Nobody understood it. We're building on that knowledge, and we're learning even more things. Even things today that people say, how did that happen? Maybe, who knows, 20 years, 100 years from now, people will understand fully why that happened. Why one person dies of cancer and another person doesn't. It lives on and on. Why people like Len Bias died of a cocaine overdose when he was a well-conditioned athlete, great physical specimen, and other people like Keith Richards are doing all kinds of drugs and are still alive. Now, how do you explain that? Maybe someday we'll have an answer to that.
Why does there need to be disease and an illness? I mean, aren't there enough accidents for God to kill people?
Yeah.
But no, you've got to have people suffering from cancer, tuberculosis, AIDS, just so many different illnesses. And you say, well, why does God need this to happen? They say, oh, okay, well, it wasn't God that did it. No, maybe it wasn't God that did it, but couldn't he have at least given some help to the American Cancer Society and whispered in someone's ear and say, hey, okay, look, the cure to cancer is like that, and put it in their mind like that? No, of course not. Or, hey, look, the cure for AIDS that will take care of all the AIDS, that no matter how it mutates, this one basic thing is going to kill it all. But no, the suffering has to go on, and I think that that is inexcusable of any loving God. So.
Okay, well, I got to get going, guys.
Good. Well, thanks for calling.
Yep.
Yep.
Be
Look
sure
forward
to
to a
call
couple
in
weeks.
again.
Yep.
Thank you.
Take care.
Bye.
Well,
Okay. Well,
we
ladies
go.
and gentlemen, as you can see, that was one caller. We would appreciate others if you've got a different thought, different frame of mind, or different question. Give us a call right now, and we'll be only too pleased to tell you what we think, and you can tell us what you think. We just hope that you just don't proselytize and run on forever about all this proof in the Bible, because you're talking on deaf ears, because we do not believe that a single thing in the Bible is the Word of God.
well, we don't believe there's a God. And that's the frustrating part, when people try to convince us by quoting the Bible.
Mm-hmm.
We don't believe the Bible is the word of a supreme being. We don't believe there is a supreme being. How can
Yeah.
we believe he's got a word? So it's the word of men. Men wrote these things down. They understand the Bible's even been changed over the years. People have made adjustments to it, and even the original transcripts, they took things in, put things in, took things out, and made changes. So how can that be? If God is inspiring this thing, that would be that. And now in some of the religions, sometimes they change their rules. Well, how can you change rules if God made the rule? That's the rule. That's it. And he knows better. He would not need to ever be corrected. And now rules we make, that people make, sometimes need to be adjusted. There are laws that we pass and that are no longer relevant, so that law gets repealed and replaced with another law. But we're only human. We make mistakes, and we look at things that in the time frame that we're looking at them. They're relevant. For instance, some of our silly laws about you can't tie up a horse downtown when you're shopping downtown. That's no longer relevant. And so we hopefully do away with those laws, and we make new laws to cover things. So, but God, if God wrote this, and he's the supreme being, and he's the almighty and all-knowing, there would never be any need for any revision, because he would know what rule is going to be a rule that's in effect forever. He wouldn't, like the golden rule, do unto others as you would have them do unto you, which, by the way, I don't agree with, because, for instance, I practiced that once. I was walking down the street. I saw this lovely young lady. She was beautiful. I said, what would I like her to do? I would love her to come up to me and give me a great big hug and kiss, and so I went, and she was offended that I did this, She was very upset, but I was practicing the golden rule. I was doing unto her what I would want her to do unto me. It didn't
Which
work.
I think is
It
reasonable.
just did not work, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So I would say don't practice that golden rule thing. Be very careful about if you do.
For those of you that are just listening to the sound of our voice and can't see the smoke coming out of his wife's ears, that is taking care of the technical stuff right now, it would be humorous. I just want to give you one other thing. I've got a list of the names of some of the speakers at the Reason rally. Okay? Richard Dawkins. Yes, that's right. Dawkins himself, the number one atheist probably in the world. They're most famous or infamous, however you want to look at it. P.Z. Myers, Taslima Nazarene, James Randi.
The amazing.
The amazing James Randi, who's got a what the heck is his offer? $1 million offer.
I believe it's
Randi Foundation.
Yeah.
James, I believe if you can prove this.
Yeah, if you can prove anything, in the Bible that he cannot duplicate himself, he'll pay him large sum of money. But
go to his website and look that up.
Go to his website. Then there's Adam Savage, Jessica Alquist again.
Yes.
Okay, Dan Baker.
Dan Barker.
Yeah. Okay.
Dan Barker.
Barker. Yeah.
Freedom from Religion.
And of course, the one and only David Silverman, who is the current president of American Atheists and a very outspoken person.
Someone we had speak at our group.
Yes, he's come down to speak at our group, and he's a phenomenal speaker, most entertaining, very, very articulate, and plus
and he's going to be very happy right now because he's a New England Patriots fan.
Oh!
And if they win, I'm sure he'll be especially excited.
I guess maybe. Well, we'll see if prayer works.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Okay, and there are 17 others that are also coming to the Reason rally. So it really is something that you don't want to miss. Right now, I'm not sure. Let's see if we have anything else here. We've got the Reason rally. We've got Jessica Alquist, Ghost Hunters there. The American Atheist Convention that is going on. Well, we can tell you that our next live show will be Tuesday, 14th of February, in the year of your Lord, 2012. And it will be on White Rose Community Television, WRCT, Channel 16, which is also...
or the internet.
Yeah, or on the internet. You can look for us on our Facebook page at www.panonbelievers.org, all one word there. And, to the millions and millions, and we mean it, millions and millions of non-believers out there, some of whom are still in the closet because they are afraid of you Christians out there getting nasty with them. To all the other atheists, you're not alone. There's so many more around. And I'm quite sure that if all the religious people knew about all the non-religious people, they'd probably worry a lot more.
Well, there are many people, atheists, who worry about their job. Because there are many cases that if you came out of the closet, just as much as it was with gay people years ago, if you came out of the closet, you no longer had a job. Your livelihood was finished.
Especially in any sort of religious community. I saw that happen once to this guy. He wasn't even an atheist. What happened was that he was an outside contractor at the place that I was working at the time, and nicest guy you'd ever want to meet, and a very good worker.
I thought I was the nicest guy you ever want to meet.
Well, it was up till then.
Oh, okay.
So he, but he got caught soliciting an undercover police officer down in on downtown. Okay, and they published his name. Well, half the guys in the plant were, when he came in, you dog, you, like that. And he goes, I'm innocent. I was just talking to her about money. He said, we never did anything. But there was a bunch of Mennonite workers there, and they all got together and approached the company and said, ban him from the company, or there will be consequences.
Yeah.
Okay? And the company, they caved. And he was not allowed in the plant anymore, although he was a very good contractor. So, I mean, the religious people out there, they can go out and they can make all kinds of threats. I mean, I could never ever go to some place I worked and say, hey, I want to complain. I learned this guy is an evangelical Christian. He's born again, like that. We want you to get rid of him. Like
Well,
that.
we're not that way, though. Atheists aren't that way.
I don't. If he's working with me and he's nice to me,
Yeah. Well, the major goal, though, of American atheists right now is not to convert people but to get atheists to come out of the closet, to admit.
Yeah,
because
that's
people
the
would be
biggest.
shocked to find out how many people are atheists. Just as years ago, people were shocked to find out how many of their co-workers are gay.
Yeah.
Coming out of the closet lets everybody know that we're not that rare, and there are so many people. We're, I think, one of the fastest growing segments of society is non-believers, whether they're atheists or agnostics or just non-believers.
Well, that's because people really can't see any difference with us the way that we are, unless you start getting into the subject of God and religion. Well, then maybe they might notice a difference. But we got exactly the same values as everyone else does. We try to get out of paying our taxes, but we always do pay them. We don't like it, but
I hope we all do.
Yeah, but I mean, it's like everyone else.
We're no different than anyone else.
No,
As a
and
group, yeah.
You put 500 atheists and 500 Christians in a big auditorium and told them to talk, but they could not talk about religion. And at the end of the day, you couldn't tell who was atheist and who was religious, because we're all alike one way or the other. And just be nice if people just didn't want to keep telling us that we were going to hell, and
it doesn't do any good. You can't convert us, and we can't convert you, so don't even bother trying.
No.
But we're almost out of time, aren't we?
Yes, we are. We got just about 5 seconds left, and don't forget the Reason Rally. And
March 24th.
Y'all, you have a good night,